not believe what's on the menu.
Old clothes for dinner! Old clothes for dinner!
Old clothes for dinner!
You heard right. We are having old clothes for dinner.
Well, it's finally official. You've all lost your marbles. We Cheffy Saint. Abuela Bear, I didn't mean you. I'm sure you have all your marbles. Of course I do, but don't you know that I make old clothes for dinner? Ooh, Abuela Bear, if you need food, I can give you bats too. No, but thank you. Oh, because old clothes is food. What? Cuban food! What? Hi, StoryTeller, can you please help with Cheffy sing understand?
Anything for you, Abuela.
And you are going to listen, okay? Okay, anything for you, Abuela. What happened to your dress? I accidentally cooked it.
Well, I can personally guarantee you that old clothes does not contain any witch dresses. Old clothes for dinner. And there we see an Abuela working away in the kitchen. And welcome to New York City. Magali shivered. Brrr. The chilly air nipped without her sweater. She couldn't find it anywhere. Magali followed her big brother, Camilo, into their building, and a zesty aroma tickled her nose as they neared the apartment. And do you see this aroma just floating out of the window? I feel like the entire neighborhood is probably starving right now. Suddenly I'm hungry. Why do I feel like eating Cuban food? And in they go. Abuela stood over the stove, stirring sofrito and humming. Since she arrived from Havana to live with them a month ago, their grandmother had whipped up one Cuban dish after another. Fricasé de pollo, chicken stew, which looks like this, and picadillo, delicious simmered ground beef, which looks like this, and all kinds of new foods that Magali had never tried before. Abuela's recipes all started with sofrito, a base of garlic, onions, peppers, tomatoes, and oil.
And that is the foundation of great Cuban food.
She would know. She's a pro.
Aha! I see no old clothes anywhere. This is false advertising. We Cheffy sang. Abuela Bear, I didn't see you there. What did I tell you? I forgot. Keep listening. Okay.
Let's go back to the kitchen in Magali's New York City apartment, shall we? But what Magali loved most was Abuela's arroz con leche. She would have never thought that a sweet rice pudding could be so yummy. Magali liked hers topped with extra cinnamon.
Just like me! And me!
And me!
And me. Camilo ran off as Magali gave Abuela the packet from the butcher. ¿Qué cocinas? Magali asked. With Abuela around, Magali spoke Spanish all the time now.
And like we do with Abuela Bear when she's teaching us Espanol.
Exactly, Pink Bear, just like that. With Abuela around, Magali was speaking Spanish all the time now, and she asked her, ¿Qué cocinas? What's cooking? Abuela looked up and smiled. Ropa vieja. Now, Magali understood enough Spanish to know that ropa meant clothes and vieja meant old. Old clothes for dinner? Gross!
What that stew needs is bats. We Cheffy sing, por favor. Oh, right. I'm back to listening.
Magali bolted to the room she shared with Camilo. Ooh. This is a very nice, bright, happy room. Check out the rosy-cheeked bear on the bed and some bunny slippers and a robot and an octopus. And we have some galoshes for when the weather is rainy. And we have some KidTime StoryTimes and a doll and the world and so much more. So her purple nightshirt lay crumpled on the floor. If Abuela likes to cook old clothes, Magali stuffed the nightshirt into her desk drawer. Hey, what are you doing? Camilo asked. Abuela says she is cooking our old clothes for dinner. And clearly she is worried about her fave sweater. That's ridiculous, Camilo snapped. No one eats clothes. Abuela does. You should hide that striped shirt you love. You wear it so much it has a hole. I can't even find it. I've looked everywhere. Magali's stomach swooped. A missing sweater. A missing t-shirt. Ropa vieja for dinner. Aha! There's no aha here, Witcheficent.
Oops, I did it again, didn't I?
Yes. Magali remembered that when Abuela lived in Cuba, Mommy would send her boxes stuffed with clothes, skirts and shirts, underwear. The clothes weren't for Abuela to wear. She just realized they were for her to eat. It was 8 p.m. when Magali heard the front door click open, then swish shut. Mommy was home from work. Magali, Camilo, vengan a comer. Abuela was calling. Dinner was ready. And look at the aromas wafting off of the table. Magali swallowed hard as Abuela spooned the ropa vieja on each of their plates. Olives, onions, and peppers were mixed with what looked like strips of Camilo's shirt or pieces of her sweater. Huele rico, Mommy said. It did smell good. You're not going to try the ropa vieja, Magali? Mommy asked. Abuela spent all afternoon making it. Well, Magali didn't want to hurt Abuela's feelings. Oh, no, you can't do that.
I would never,
Never, ever, ever.
It's just not done. Her hand shook as she brought a fork full of ropa vieja to her mouth. The old clothes, didn't taste bad at all. Camilo had already emptied half of his plate by the time Magali managed to take another bite. There's enough left for tomorrow, Mommy said. Ooh, I love me some leftovers. That night, Magali laid awake while Camilo snored. A lot of things had changed since Abuela arrived. They watched Spanish shows on TV now. Camilo complained a lot less, and Mommy seemed happier and less stressed. Magali welcomed all these changes, but she would never get used to eating clothes. The next day, Magali didn't smell sofrito when she and Camilo walked into their building because they were going to eat the leftover ropa vieja. Then Camilo showed up at dinner wearing his striped t-shirt. Where was it? Magali whispered. Abuela had it. She sewed up the hole, said Camilo. She fixed your sweater too. My sweater? Yeah, you wore it so much it had a hole, Camilo teased. Magali was confused.
I am so confused.
Magali is not the only one who is confused. Mommy, which of our old clothes did Abuela cook? Magali asked. Oh, what do you mean, old clothes? Mommy responded. And look at the illustration. It looks as if Mommy is opening the pot and all this clothes is coming out. But really, what's on her plate is not all this stuff, is it? What do you mean, old clothes? Mommy responded. The ropa vieja Abuela made, said Magali. Oh, said Mommy. It's only called that because the shredded beef looks like a heap of clothes. Magali's jaw dropped open. Gasp!
Gasp! You see, I keep telling you. You're right, Abuela.
I don't know if it's just me, but I am getting hungrier by the page.
Me too. Me 3.
Me 4.
This is beef? Mommy was laughing now. Yes, you picked it up from the butcher yourself. Yes, remember way back at the beginning, she brought a little thing of beef from the butcher? It was that. That was the clothes. And Magali's cheeks flushed as Mommy translated for Abuela. Magali had never seen her grandmother laugh so hard. And no one laughed harder than Camilo. Magali couldn't help but laugh too. What a misunderstanding. Embarrassed but relieved, Magali gobbled up the rest of her plate. Ropa vieja was delicious. After cleaning up all the ropa vieja, Abuela and Mommy disappeared into the kitchen and came back with 4 bowls and spoons. Tu favorito, said Abuela as she slid a bowl of arroz con leche in front of Magali with you-know-what, extra cinnamon on top. Magali smiled at Abuela and Abuela winked. Ding. By the way, Magali, I was gathering the laundry and I couldn't find your purple nightshirt, Mommy said in between spoonfuls of rice pudding. Have you seen it? Yes, replied Magali. I know exactly where it is.
She hid it inside her desk in her room. So you were listening, selectively.
And Magali's abuela is from Cuba, just like Abuela Bear. So Abuela, check this out. I want you to see this. Facts about Cuba! Yes, we get to see all kinds of really interesting things. Like we learned that Cuba is the largest island in the Caribbean, and sometimes it is described as el cocodrilo. That's because it's kind of shaped like a crocodile. That's true. And Cuba is only 93 miles away from Florida, which means it's really close to the United States.
Do you miss it, Abuela? I dog the dinosaur. I miss what Cuba was. But I have Cuba in my heart, my traditions, and, yes, my cooking.
And we are so lucky to have that.
Super lucky.
The luckiest! Your food tastes like love, Abuela.
Hi, Green Bear.
I love you.
When food is made with love, it can taste like love.
Dinner's ready.